I'd like to start off by asking for everyone to raise their hand if they've heard of the term gluten-free before. So it looks like pretty much everyone in the room. Okay, put your hands down. Thank you. 2 years ago, I had actually never heard of being gluten-free. Here, come on. Or celiac disease. It actually wasn't until my summer going into college. And the reason I found out wasn't because I was looking to be healthier or wanted to try a new diet. I found out because of my little brother Taylor, who was actually 15 at the time. Back then, he was going under a lot of health issues. He had stunted growth, malnutrition. He was having this problem that he developed with acid reflux, where he could hardly keep down any food, and he was developing this disease that was diagnosed called GERD, which can lead to cancer. And what it is, the acid in your stomach is kind of eating away at the inside of your esophagus. So during this whole big debacle we were talking about as a family, it was a big debate, I was kind of removed. I was at boarding school. And while I was away at school, my little brother was taken, to Johns Hopkins, to Mayo Clinic, to all these different hospitals to see what the heck was going on. And all the doctors diagnosed him with this disease, GERD, and they said they're going to have to operate on him and open up his chest to fix it. So before this happened, my mom spoke to one of her friends, and she said, hey, well, before they go and cut open your little son's chest, you should probably see a nutritionist, see how that works. Anyone can see a local nutritionist. There's some everywhere. There's probably one here. So she went, saw the nutritionist, and it turns out Taylor was actually diagnosed with celiac disease. And he went on the diet, which means you don't eat any gluten. And after 1 month, his symptoms started to go away. And it was amazing. Everyone was surprised. The doctors had no idea because they're opposing medical thoughts. It's Eastern medicine versus Western medicine, kind of preventative through nutrition versus medicine that you take. So after this happened, I had no idea until I came home that summer, and my parents told me, hey, your little brother has celiac disease. Our kitchen was changed, everything, no more, crackers, pretzels, everything switched to gluten-free. And at first I was like, oh, this kind of sucks, What am I going to do? What am I going to eat? He's the only one doing it. And it was really hard on him because no one else was. So then my mom decides, hey, I want to get it checked out. And she gets tested. And we find out she has it. And my dad does too. And then one by one, everyone in our family got tested, and we all have the disease. It's genetic. What celiac disease is, you can't digest gluten, which is a protein found in wheat, barley, and rye. So I found out this summer, the summer going into college, great. It means no beer for me, anything like that. Not the greatest timing, but honestly, it was a blessing in disguise. I'll give you a little diagram of how the disease works. Just imagine this is your small intestine, and you've got these little things called villi. And these little guys absorb the nutrients that go through in your body. And when you have celiac disease, gluten actually eats away at them, so that the inside of your intestine looks like this, and you could die of malnutrition or cancer. So it was a blessing in disguise that I found out about this before college, because that's probably when I'd be consuming the most gluten in my life. Probably wouldn't have been good. So it actually really wasn't that bad. But today I want to tell you why you all should go gluten-free. For me, it wasn't hard. You guys have seen Green World. There's their own restaurant on campus that is pretty much open for gluten-free and vegan people. That's great. Not the greatest food, but good options. You've seen in Colonnades, in LSD, options everywhere. Even in Mosley, some of those restaurants have gluten-free options. I can tell you a little story about on the days they have, grilled cheese and tomato soup. I go up and I say, hey, can you make me a grilled cheese sandwich? And they're like, so nice, great about it. I sit down and then they bring it to me at the table. So if people ask if it's hard, it's really not. Trust me. All right, now I'm going to give you a little scientific background. So you know that gluten is just a protein, found in wheat, barley, and rye. People are wondering, why has this popped up all of a sudden? It really hasn't been heard about until recently. Celebrities are doing it. They say it's good for health. Well, in the last 50 years, we've undergone something called the Green Revolution with crops, and you've probably heard about it. It's genetically modified crops. And what happened is they modified the plant of wheat, and it changed the protein of gluten. And until this happened, no one was knowingly celiac disease. They had no idea about this. So one of the leading theories is that the change in our food source is affecting a part of our population. 1% of the United States, about 100 Americans, are gluten-free, and the majority of them don't even know it. So someone in this room could also be gluten-free and not even know. Now, in addition to that, just from a health standpoint, regardless if you have a disease or you just want to be healthy, there was a study done by the University of Toronto and Iowa State University that analyzed how the protein gluten can affect our bodies and our brain. There's a little blood barrier in your brain that blocks out harmful chemicals from getting in, drugs, things like that. And gluten is permeable and actually can go through this. Do you have a question? Okay. It can actually go through this. So this study actually found that gluten creates addictive properties. That's why after you have a big meal, an hour later you're hungry again. You wonder why. It's because this thing is literally getting through your brain and making you still crave food. Another study done by Mayo Clinic and Johns Hopkins supported this and had 200 individuals who were obese and on a gluten-free diet, and they lost 30 pounds over 6 months. And they also recited sites of no longer having cravings. So this kind of supported the earlier Canadian study. Also, just from a healthy standpoint, it's a good way to cut down on carbs. It's very easy to eat smaller portions, usually eat more vegetables. That's what I do. And if you want to get tested to be gluten-free, you can talk to your local nutritionist. There's definitely one here. There's one everywhere. That's what we did. You could be diagnosed with something else, just like my little brother. So I'd encourage you to check out the diet, get tested. It's very easy. It can help you live healthier, longer, and feel better about yourself. So that's my speech, and I'm going to open it up now for any questions.